Now after this Weber pressure, the second important property of liquid, that is the surface tension. So we are going to study surface tension. Now before studying this surface tensions, it's better let's define what is the meaning of surface tension. Now the surface tension, by this surface tension we means a particular liquid has got a tendency to assume the minimum surface area. Now tendency for these liquids to assume the minimum surface area is what we call as surface tension. By this surface tension, liquids will try to assume a shape in which it has got minimum surface area. So to explain this, let's take this. A container, we are having some liquid. Now let's take a particular liquid present in the bulk. This molecule present inside the bulk has got molecules in all possible directions, so this will assume net repulsive force. The net force experienced by this molecule is 0 because this molecule is having molecules in all possible directions. So the molecule present in the bulk will have net force 0. Now let's take a molecule present at the surface. This molecule is having molecule here. This also has a molecule here. This has got molecule below, but above this does not have any molecule. So look at this. These molecules present at the surface has got some net downward force. So the molecules present at the surface experience a net downward force which is perpendicular to the surface of liquid. Because of this net downward force, these molecules will try to assume a shape having minimum surface area. And this net downward force, because of this net downward force, the molecules present at the surface is at a highly tense state. Both are the tension में, because this molecule is experiencing a net downward force. So this is what we call as the surface tension. So what I am saying is the molecules present at the surface is experiencing a net downward force. Because of this net downward force, these molecules will try to assume a shape having minimum surface area, and this is the cause of this surface tension. So based on this, let's define this surface tension. So because of this net downward force, the molecule is assuming some minimum surface area. Now this surface tension is defined as the work or energy required to expand the surface area by 1 unit. How much energy we have to supply, how much work we have to done so that the surface area of this molecule is expanded by 1 unit area, and that energy is what they call as surface tension. So from definition point of view, this is defined as amount of work or energy required to expand or extend surface area by unit. So how much energy is required to expand the surface area by 1 unit? That energy is defined as the surface tension. So this surface tension is what defined by this term eta. So this is work divided by area, and we know work is force into displacement. Force into displacement is what we call as work or work done or energy. Area is length square. So therefore this surface tension is equals to force per length. So this work, how much work we have to supply, how much energy we have to supply so that this surface area is increased by 1 in or 1 unit area is increased. So we define this as work per unit area. So based on this, work is defined as force into displacement, area is length square. So we define the surface tension as force per length. So the unit of this surface tension will be equals to the unit of force divided by length. So this is the unit of surface tension. So now look at this work, this is what we call as surface area. So surface energy. So we define this as surface energy. Have a look at this. Surface energy. So surface energy is this surface tension into area. So now look at this. This is surface tension which is equals to work divided by area. So this work is nothing but the surface energy, means how much energy we have to supply so the surface area is increased by 1 unit. So therefore this surface energy is equals to this surface tension into the area, and this is what we call as the surface tension. Now once we have this surface tension, now look at this. Because of this surface tension, liquid will try to assume minimum surface area. So now this surface tension is because of this net downward force. That means this surface tension is a measure of intermolecular attractive force. Measure of intermolecular attractive force. Intermolecular attractive force between the components. That means if the intermolecular attractive force is more, then the surface tension will be more. That means this measures the intermolecular attractive force, means this surface tension is directly proportional to intermolecular attractive force. Intermolecular attractive force. So for those liquids having higher value of intermolecular attractive force, the surface tension will be more. So now we take this example, water and glycerol. Now water is also having hydrogen bond, glycerol is also having hydrogen bond, but now the hydrogen bond is stronger in case of glycerol than that of water, since glycerol molecules are having stronger hydrogen bond compared to that of water. So the surface tension of glycerol molecules will be greater than that of surface tension of water. Second, this surface tension is measuring intermolecular attractive force, and now look at this intermolecular attractive force also depends on temperature. If the temperature is increased, the intermolecular attractive force will decrease. If the intermolecular attractive force decreases, then the surface tension will decrease. So this surface tension is inversely related to temperature. So on increasing temperature, the intermolecular attractive force will decrease. If the intermolecular attractive force decreases, then the surface tension will decrease. That means on increasing temperature, surface tension of the liquid will decrease. If the temperature is decreased, the surface tension will increase. Because of this surface tension, liquid always tries to assume minimum surface area, that is the spherical. Minimum surface area. Now, because of this surface tension, liquid will always try to assume minimum surface area. So 20 seconds drops of liquid drops falling from a particular dropper. All this always says this is spherical in nature because the sphere has got minimum surface area. So we said liquid drops are spherical. So liquid drops spherical means sphere has got a minimum surface area. So why this liquid drops are spherical in nature because sphere has got minimum surface area, and this is because of this surface tension. So because of this surface tension, liquid drops are having spherical in nature. Now this surface tension is also responsible for capillary action. Capillary action, that is rise and fall of liquid in a capillary tube. Rise and fall of liquid in a capillary tube. So when we have a container, in this container we place a capillary tube. When we place this capillary tube, either liquid will rise or liquid will drop. So this rise and the fall of capillary tube is because of this surface tension. So let me explain here again. Take this, we are taking two containers. In both the containers we are having some liquid, and to this liquid we are dripping some capillary tube. In one of the case, look at this is the level of water, the water rises in the capillary tube. In the second case, there is fall in the capillary tube. So this rise and fall of liquid in a capillary tube is because of this surface tension. If the attractive force between the molecules of liquid and the solid, if this is greater than the surface tension, then the liquid will rise. So we are saying when a liquid rises, the surface tension of liquid is less than the attractive force between liquid and solid glass. If the attractive force is greater between the liquid and the solid, that is what we call as adhesive force. If the adhesive force is greater than the surface tension of liquid, then liquid will rise in the capillary tube, and if this is the case, then liquid will wet. Liquid will wet the surface को गीला कर देगा. On the other side, look at this. When there is a fall in the level of liquid in the capillary tube, this is possible when the surface tension of liquid or the intermolecular attractive force between the components of liquid is stronger or greater in magnitude than that between the liquid and the solid. This value is greater than attractive force between solid and liquid. So if the intermolecular attractive force or the surface tension of liquid is greater than the attractive force between the liquid and the surface, then there is a fall in the capillary tube. So when there is a fall in capillary tube, then there won't be wetting. Liquid will not wet. Will not wet the solid. So this is what we call as the rise and fall of liquid in a capillary tube. So we have to very specify why there is a rise in capillary tube or fall in the capillary tube. This is because of the surface tension. When we compare the surface tension with the intermolecular attractive force, there are two possible cases. If intermolecular attractive force between solid and liquid is greater or less than the surface tension, if more than surface tension, liquid will rise up, so liquid will wet the solid. If less than the surface tension, then there is a dip in the capillary tube or the fall in the capillary tube, and the liquid will not wet. When we add some soaps and detergents, the surface tension of the liquid is decreased up to a marked level, and this decrease in surface tension helps in uniform spreading of the liquid. So this is what we call a phenomenon in which therefore uniform distribution of the substance. This is used in making of cream, soaps, like toothpaste, gels, etc. So there we add some surface active substance. Because of this surface active substance, surface tension is always decreases. So this is what we call as surface tension, and this how this surface tension varies with intermolecular attractive force, temperature, an important consequence of this surface tension. After this surface tension, the next important property of liquid is viscosity. So in our day-to-day life, we are eating some liquid is a viscous liquid, some liquids having less viscosity. So now in terms of chemistry or in terms of physics, we have to define this viscosity. This viscosity is defined as internal resistance to the flow of liquid. So whenever we assume the flow of liquid, we assume that liquids are flowing in laminar flow, layer by layer. So when we assume the liquids are flowing in layer, between two layers there must be some internal resistance, or which is known as the friction. So because of this internal resistance to flow or the frictional force that exists between these two adjacent layers is what we call as viscosity. So definition is internal resistance to flow of liquids. Internal resistance to flow of liquid. This internal resistance, this is nothing but a frictional force. Frictional force that acts between the two layers of liquid is what we call as the viscosity. This is nothing but the resistance to flow of liquid, or how much frictional force is acting on in between two adjacent layers when they are moving in a parallel laminar flow. That is what we call as viscosity. So now we assume three different layers. This is the middle layer. The middle layer is moving with velocity u. Then the upper layer is moving with velocity u plus du. Du is a very small change in the velocity. Then the next layer is moving with velocity u minus du. So this is the velocity difference between the layers. Then now look at this. The layer which is in contact with the sides of container, the velocity is 0. Moving from this to the center, the velocity increases. So the layer or the liquid which is exactly at the center will always move with higher velocity. The same is applicable when we look at this, the flow of water in a river. Those which is on the bank, which is adjacent to the bank of river, they will move with slow velocity. But as the distance from the bank increases, at the center, liquid will move with high speed. So this is what we call as there is a velocity gradient, and this is because of some resistance or some frictional force acting between the layers of liquid which is flowing. Now let's say that this is the distance between the adjacent layer, distance, this is the velocity, then this frictional force or internal resistance, this is directly proportional to the area of contact. So we are using this layer. As the size of area of this layer increases, more layers will be having more amount of internal resistance. If the area is less, internal resistance will be less. Now along with this is area of layer. This frictional force is also proportional to the velocity gradient, du by dx, that is velocity gradient. Because with this distance there is a change in the velocity, that is what we call as velocity gradient. So combining these two, we say this internal resistance or the frictional force is proportional to area of contact and this velocity gradient. So removing this, we get F is equal to some constant known as eta, which is known as viscosity coefficient, A du by dx, and this n eta is known as viscosity coefficient. Viscosity coefficient इसको कहते हैं. So this is the frictional force which is acting between two adjacent layers during the flow of liquid, and this force is what we call as viscosity. So if the internal resistance is more, then we say the liquid is more viscous. If the internal resistance is less, then we say the viscosity is less. And once we have this viscosity, this resistance to flow, then we define another term which is known as fluidity. So fluidity phi, this is defined as inverse of the viscosity coefficient. If the viscosity coefficient is more, internal resistance is more, then the fluid nature, tendency for this moving will be less. If this viscosity coefficient is less, then the fluidity will be more. So this is what we call as the viscosity. Now look at this, we are saying that there is an internal resistance to the flow of liquid. That means this internal resistance is because of the intermolecular attractive force that exists between the molecules. So now this viscosity or this eta, that is the viscosity coefficient, is proportional to intermolecular attractive force. Intermolecular attractive force. So if a particular liquid has got stronger intermolecular attractive force, then the internal resistance will be more and the viscosity will be more. Now this intermolecular attractive force, this may be dipole-dipole interaction, this may be ion-dipole interaction, this may be induced dipole interaction, or this may be hydrogen bond. So the strength of intermolecular attraction is maximum in case of hydrogen bond. So we'll take this case. Take this, we have this liquid water and we have hydrogen bond, then we have this alcohol. In both the cases we have hydrogen bond. So hydrogen bond is stronger in case of water than in case of alcohol. So the coefficient of this viscosity will be more in case of water, means the resistance to flow or the viscosity of water will be greater than that of alcohol, and this is less than that of glycerol. So glycerol, this is, we have CH2OH, CHOH, glycerol molecules. Now look at this, we have 3 OH which can involve in hydrogen bond. So the number of strong bond, hydrogen bond formed by molecules of glycerol will be much more compared to that of water. So now in all these cases we have hydrogen bond. So hydrogen bond is maximum in case of glycerol. So glycerol will have higher viscosity than water than alcohol. Now let's compare with this ether, ROR. Now this ether does not have any hydrogen which can involve in hydrogen bond, but this is a polar molecule, so we have a dipole-dipole. So in all these cases we have hydrogen bond, but we have this dipole-dipole type. So as the strength of hydrogen bond increases, this coefficient of viscosity also increases, means the viscosity increases or the resistance to flow of liquid also increases. Now this intermolecular attractive force also depends on temperature. So if we increase the temperature, this intermolecular attractive force will decrease. As the intermolecular attractive force decreases, this coefficient of viscosity will also decrease. That means viscosity increases as the temperature is decreased and viscosity decreases as the temperature is increased. So this eta is inversely related to temperature, means on increasing temperature viscosity will decrease. Now this viscosity is directly proportional to pressure. If we apply pressure, on applying pressure, molecules will come closer and then intermolecular attractive force will be increased. As the intermolecular attractive force increases, then the viscosity will increase. So viscosity increases as the pressure is increases, viscosity decreases as the temperature is increased, viscosity increases as the intermolecular attractive force increases.